Oh dear, full of shenanigans. But we'll give that a little shift. So here's what's going on, guys. I'm Molly, also known as Duke the Renegade. I am sitting at my workspace, which is quite fast. And what we have going on here is my drum carder, all of this fun, would it be, and some wool that I would like to card into would it be, and some wool I'd like to mix up. So what I have here is a couple of different things that I intend to combine together, and we shall go from here. Would it be? But I did want to hop to it. Would it be? I did want to hop to it because I probably won't have an opportunity to do this next week. And it definitely looks like I'm going to be wrapping up my current spinning project a little fun. So that is the thought process there. So what I have going on here is I have this Leicester long wool that I have in my little bat keepers. And I have 4 ounces of this from the Shave 'em to Save 'em drum carding class I ended up taking last January. So not 2021, but 2020. And all of the fiber that I ended up putting in my completely twisted and arbitrary, my ambitions low, and I will eventually hit all of the things, hit the goals for the stash this year. So that I had in the recent pair of spins involved something that was enough to be like a full project. So what we have going on here is some Leicester long wool. So this is a medium sort of gray with some tonal variations, and such amazing crimp. So that is cool and exciting and fun, and very interesting how it looks so smooth on one side and crimpy on the other. And I can definitely tell this has been hanging out sort of compressed for a while. That is probably not too much different now. It looks like I did a little like fold on it. This one side. So definitely a long stable, very stable, not too much veg going on here, but not too crazy. And we can leave that there for the time being, as you do. And then what I have is this. I actually just started this week a spin of the Jacob, and I wrapped up making the singles of my Florida cracker that I drum carded with a dyed braid. So I did some more intentional color stuff with that one, so I broke up the warm and cool colors and made warm and cool bats. But for this one, I'm perfectly happy with it being random and mixed up. Would it be part of this is just getting a little bit of blue into the gray fiber. And so my intention with the Leicester long wool was to have a crack at processing like a longer fleece on the drum carder. Because the class that I ended up taking was right before I ended up purchasing the drum carder. So it was a very lovely little so what I am doing right now is just sort of getting things into more manageable lengths, and I am not displeased about that. And then what I'll probably end up doing next is like weighing to make sure the sections I've made make sense. But Normally I'm pretty good about getting good estimates of how much fiber I have going on. So the thought process being, I'm going to make a bat. I may not show the carding of all of it on this live, because that is quite a lot of bat making. But this should give me pretty good color variation. So not too crazy. So we've now got this braid in pieces and random fiber that is artfully out of frame. Whatever. So got that in pieces. Should be good to go. And then, roughly speaking, this is just like the sanity check stage. So what I have out of frame is my gram scale. So we should be running somewhere close to about 15 grams per section on there. That was a little light, but whatever. Like, my estimating skills are fairly okay. Yeah, so we're somewhere between 15 and 13 for most of these. Ooh, 12.6. That was like, is that one too? No, that one's 14. So, what would it be? So if we're running roughly 15 piece. Yeah, no, that was definitely 4 ounces of fiber there. And so then I just have to go ahead. That one just seemed to be a fluke, it appears. So now I can't even see myself from the pile of fiber that I have going on here. Oh, this one isn't split in half yet. That's why it's not fitting. So this one is running a little bit closer to like 13 piece. So these are a little on the high end. So not too crazy there. So what's going to happen is one piece of this and one piece of this will be going in. And what I'll end up probably doing is like alternating so that I can get a really good mixture of colors. And so what's going to happen is it's going to be a more sultry color because of how I'm putting everything together. And then what I'm doing here is just sort of heating everything up. So one section Leicester, one section Dorset horn. And so is this going to make the softest, fluffiest fiber ever? Well, it'll certainly be fluffy. But if I took this into my scanning electron microscope and attempted to measure the diameter of the fiber, this would definitely be on the higher end. But there's just quite a lot of stuff here. And I bet I'm going to do terrible things to my computer fan, because it definitely sounds like it's struggling to keep up right now. Though to be fair, I am uploading my regularly scheduled podcast right now too. So that is the story there. So I now have my 8 piles of wool, and I definitely have sort of a mix. The fiber tool, this is like a grossly blown up thing, but what's going to end up happening is you're going to see all of these colors in there. And what's sort of nice about how this is right now is that the length of the bat and the length of the top is about the same. So, I could just pull from both of them simultaneously. That is an option. Or I can, would be just sort of open this up a little bit and then sort of alternate what I end up doing. It's not too important. Like, I'm guessing I'm probably only going to do one pass and pull it, and I'm okay with it being pretty mixed up. So I think that's going to be what ends up happening. And then I'll end up probably spinning it in a way where things will end up getting mixed up in the end. So that's my guess. So key on, motor on, and now it's time to get started. So both of these are pretty long staple. Like they're fairly similar to each other. So I think I'm just going to simultaneously pull for the time being. We'll do this. Let's see it. So that just means I'm mixing the colors very early on here. And what's going to happen as I layer the fiber on is that I will end up getting things nicely mixed here. By pulling both at the same time, this means I'm like already getting things mixed up right off the bat. Make sure that it ends up taking it in. Packing it in. Yeah, the Leicester long wool is probably like a half an inch longer than the Dorset horn is. So I'm not too worried about that. The point of the drum carder is that you can mix fibers of different lengths on it. And how this will end up turning out. Definitely an entertaining trick with respect to taking something that's maybe less of your favorite color and mixing it up in a way so that it works out nicely. I really like the roasted corn on top though. And then being mindful to pack frequently. This should go pretty quick. It's mostly just having like a lot of fiber at your disposal. So what would one do with fiber such as this? Like, it's definitely the case where what's going to end up happening is this is, I don't know. I'll have to see whether or not it turns out that the final, if the finished product ends up turning out to be like next to skin soft or not. Like, it would be the case where I would assume that outerwear would end up probably being its final destination in the end. But I could be surprised. Another piece of this is I will have to be mindful as I'm spinning it, because this is much longer than fiber that I usually work with, so I need to be mindful that I don't put in too much twist as I'm working with it. Because it's longer and stronger, it just doesn't require as much twist. I'm very excited with what that's telling me. Is that I probably could still spin this pretty fine, if that's what I decide to happen. But I noticed as I was pulling that, like, it ended up looking really, really dense. So making sure that everything is still loose and fluffy. But the finish of this is going to be mostly the Leicester long wool. Not like making that last little bit. Okay, so how it's going to appear on the outside is going to be a little bit more gray, but not too crazy. So let's see here. How do I want to handle this? So I'm going to shimmy my fiber this way so that we can start to be closer. Okay, so now I've got a head-on shot. You would definitely see on using it, that's where it ended up turning out. So this one I think is nominally supposed to be the 2. Such is life, we'll make it work. So what I have done here is I have used my orifice hook to thread it through the diz. I have the rounded side of the hole facing the drum carder. And now what I'm going to do is pull off the carded sliver. And what's going to end up happening is it will get tougher as I get to the middle because there's just more thickness of that in the middle. And what I need to keep an eye on is to make sure that I'm slurping up all of the fiber and that I am transitioning nicely over the break, because that's sort of where my spiral starts and ends. We didn't slip at all. But what is nice is you can see that this is coming off really easy. We have, so all of the shades of the dyed fiber, or all of the hues in the dyed fiber are now all mixed up in this. And then we've got this sort of silver wash going on in sort of the mixture of it. So it doesn't, or would it be? Like, is the hue more gray? Absolutely. But I think it's come up really pretty. All right, we're getting to the thick part, but it's still coming off really nice. If you watched my previous drum carding video, the first time I'm pulling fiber off, it was definitely a struggle bus sort of situation. It was not coming off nice at all. So none in the top and very little in the back. This frosty look that we have going on here. So at this point, this will be the final pass, it feels like. And what's going on here is there just isn't a lot of fiber to hold it together. So I'm really just pulling the last of it off. Yeah, we'll have to call that close enough. But like definitely seeing all of the different saturation levels of the blue. We've definitely got some good mixing of the gray and the blue while still being distinct. Visible. And now I can move on to combining this one. So this one is probably going to end up looking quite a bit lighter than that one, just based on what I'm seeing in the fiber. And that is fine. Definitely wearing clothes that synthesis of them, these long wools, and add them together. So in my mind, that's pretty good. And then what I'm going to try to do is pull 5 fiber lengths, insert them into the carder. Because especially at the end, that seems to be a pretty good cadence, so might as well start out that way. But for some reason, this isn't pulling quite as nicely for me. And then what I'm trying to keep an eye out for is to make sure that all of the fiber is feeding on. With 1/0 that's like it shouldn't be too strained. But there might be something about humidity or something like that that would make it not want to do as nicely. There was like a lot of the static electricity or something like that. On this one, it looks like I'm gonna run out of the Leicester long wool before the Dorset one. Oh well, whatever. It's just going to give the surface of it a little bit of a change, and that's unimportant because we're pulling off the sliver. So it's not really going to change how it spins all that much. So definitely can see the blue going on in here. Start pulling this bad boy off. Definitely seems like it started lighter and ends a bit darker. But not too crazy. So threading my orifice hook through the diz, catching the fiber, pulling it through, having that clear. And now the rest of this is just pulling it off. Oh yeah, this one is definitely lighter looking, but the finish of the bat was much more of that sapphire color, or all of the different feeding it in. So because all of the colors were whatever, sort of everything that's present along the length of this, so an alternative way would have been to sort of separate, like to say, for example, spatially insert certain colors places. So it was the case where if I had a light blue, I would always put it on one side of the drum instead of the other. But I'm not too worried about that. So what's going to happen when I spin this up is, would it be, will the color end up looking one-dimensional? Probably not. There will probably be marling that ends up showing up depending on how much of a certain color of the Dorset horn there is, and then the contribution of the Leicester long wool. That is my guess. But this is more smoothly blended than the other project that's on this channel, because in that case, what I ended up doing was making much more distinct layers. So I applied all of the green and then a layer of white. And so that made for a more explicitly marled yarn. And it'll be fun to see how that all turns out. Yeah, almost. Okay. There might be a little bit of fiber left behind there, but I don't think it'll be a big deal. So this one definitely has more of a layered look to it, but definitely got good blending, good mixture of fiber. to each other. This one has a little bit more lighter streaks in there, which I think highlights the gray a little bit better. This one is just all around dark. But so a little bit later for this one we just finished doing, but not too crazy. So should be fun and festive. Take another photo before the light totally fails me. The light might have already failed me though. I need to get that there. We're running out of sunshine quickly. That's the problem with doing this at 7:30. So definitely you can definitely see more of that Lester Longwell crimp, which I don't know if that was because I finished with that and then seeing a little bit more of the smoother Dorset horn. But everything looks nice and fluffy and fun to spin. So there's that. Should be a fun project. 8 ounces can be a lot of fiber for sure, especially if I spin as thin as I normally do. But not too crazy. So, is it as vibrant? No. Is it more blue all over? Yes. Do I like that? Yes, it is good. So, so I think with that, because we are turning colors outside, is would it be? It's only time to do 1 ounce. But such is life. So, what would it be? So I'm going to wrap up this video and then go on to wrap up this project. But hopefully you ended up learning a little bit. You're just keeping me company, no big deal. So shouldn't be too crazy. Yeah, feel free to comment in the live thread if you have any questions. And life continues on. So